Salford's gangster, Jamie Rothwell, ordered shootings and dealt firearms over Encro chat stating, "Once you're in, hard to go back." Rothwell, a leading member of the city's anti-A-team gang, admitted a string of offences back in February, and his guilty pleas can be reported for the first time after reporting restrictions were lifted. In February, Rothwell pleaded guilty to 1 count of conspiracy to possess firearms with intent to endanger life, 1 count of conspiracy to possess ammunition with intent to endanger life, conspiracy to supply a controlled drug of Class A, namely coke, 2 counts of conspiracy to cause GBH with intent, and a single count of conspiracy to supply a controlled drug, which was Ket. At a sentencing hearing, the court heard that Rothwell, also known as Live Long, sent a message on Encro chat in 2020 in which he targeted Leon Cullen, stating, "I'll give Leon a way out. He's a grass. He turned on me for nothing, tried kill me while my daughter there. He my only enemy. When he lands in the UK, that's when it's gonna go down." When a threat to life order was issued to Liam Byrne, Rothwell discussed with a username Kprop his wish to find his address, then provided images of address via Google Earth, and then he said, "I'm going to do them all in soon." He then discussed the van that was to be used. On April the 24th, the same van was captured on CCTV, which pulled up outside a house in Warrington. Speaking of the shooting, the prosecutor Jamie Hamilton KC said what happens at the door is described by Liam Byrne's mother and his stepfather who were at the home address when there was a knock at the door. The father went to answer the door. He opened the door and recalled hearing the words "pizza delivery." He also believed that he saw a number of pizza boxes. The combination of the fact that they had not ordered a pizza and the notice that had been given to his stepson caused the stepfather to think something was amiss, and he closed the door. As the door was closing, he heard 2 shots and a third shot after he closed the door. His recollection is that the third shot passed through the door and struck him in the leg. He had 2 further shots. He called to his wife to stay in the room and she was to ring an ambulance. His mother then called 999 and her son Leon Byrne. One of the officers attending at the scene recovered 2 shell casings from the floor directly outside the front door, and the same officer recovered a further shell casing from the pavement. During the course of the evening, there was another discussion between Rothwell and another Encro chat user discussing the 2 attacks that had been planned for that evening, both taking place in Warrington. It's apparent that those organised events are aware of what happened at that address shortly after the shooting. Said Rothwell and Cape Rocket discussed the success of both attacks in a conversation that took place on the 25th of April 2020, and Rothwell shared a screenshot of an online news story about someone from Salford being taken to hospital with gunshot wounds. Rothwell boasted, "I done 2 same time." Cape Rocket asks, "Who did you get yesterday?" And Rothwell responded, "I got the dad, Liam. I took Leon dad door off also." The court heard that the occupier of Liam Cullen's former home address confirmed that between 10:30 and 11 o'clock there was a knock at his front door, and when he answered the door there was a man holding 2 pizza boxes. The occupier had not ordered a pizza. The man holding the pizza boxes asked for a Charles, and then Charles Cullen, the occupier, explained that Cullen no longer lived in, that the male walked away. The court heard that Rothwell is involved in buying and selling of guns and drugs with meshes including any Glocks for sale, bro. He also instructed others on collecting firearms and drugs around the country. He was also able to warn others about potential police activity on the roads, in particular in connection with the lockdown that was happening at the time. So speaking about the nature of Rothwell's criminality, the prosecutor said in conversations with username Tubbyturn, Rothwell indicated that he's trying to remain with a low profile but is very busy sending constant metal tops bottoms kit. He went on to boast, "I sent 300 straps home. I got RPG, M16s, Glock machines." He stated to a pal, "I sell a lot of Glocks." In a conversation with Tubbyturn, he also referenced the case for which he was wanted at the time in the UK, but referenced he was acquitted of those, but he referenced them as because a few women got shot. And he also discussed the international nature of his business, referencing Amsterdam, Spain, sending drugs to Ireland, having an Amazon truck doing runs to Belfast, a coffee shop in Amsterdam, having bonded warehouse operations. The Court was told that Rothwell himself gave an insight into the violence that is the hallmark and byproduct of his business in a conversation with Tubby Turn. Prosecutor said he discussed how he does not have anything to do with his child, as she doesn't need to be exposed in the level of danger that his world provides. And he went on to say, when you have fire in your heart, you don't stop, you get addicted, you lose everyone, you turn cold, no emotions. It's not egos, bro. People say that till you get shot or a friend does. You just stop. Tit for tat. Egos, at first I agree, but then when you're in, it's hard to get back out. So sentenced alongside Rothwell were Andrew Acker, Scott Davies, Craig Mackinson, John Moore, James Close, Callum Morris, Zach Rourke, Terence McDonough and John Stankus. So at this moment in time, they're hearing all the mitigation, and then obviously they're going to provide how long these guys are going to get in prison, but they're looking at some big bird. But yeah, this is a breaking news story coming in today. And in this next news story, one of the main players of an organised crime group involved in dealing coke has been sent to prison for 45 months after appearing at Guildford Crown Court last week. Egli Hassaj was believed to have played a significant role in a drug supply network responsible for dealing coke across East Surrey. The investigation began on the 30th of May 2024 after police conducted a warrant under Section 23 of the Misuse of Drugs Act at the Marquis of Granby public house in Redhill. The warrant was conducted following information that the drug supply network was operating and working within the pub. During a search of the premises, approximately 30 individual bags of coke were located. Fingerprints taken from a number of the bags were found to match Hassaj's DNA. On the 16th of July 2024, officers were on patrol in Redhill Town Centre when they saw Hassaj enter the Coral Bookmakers and he was detained. Hassaj was found in possession of £956 and 10 pence and a mobile phone which was seized. He was arrested, charged and bailed following court on the 17th of July 2024 for the offences of possession of criminal property and working whilst disqualified through immigration status. An examination of the mobile phone seized from Hassaj showed that his role was to set up and manage the lower level drug runners within the network and to keep track of the cash they generated and replenish the coke supplies when they were running low. Evidence from Hassaj's phone also showed that he was handling the bulk sale of coke to other dealers and not just the end users. PC Geordie Logan, who led the investigation, said once we started our investigation, it became apparent that Hassaj was responsible for the bulk sale of coke to the other dealers and not just the end users. Taking him out of the drug supply network has hopefully gone some way to disrupting its activity and sending a clear message to other dealers that supplying drugs within our local communities will simply not be tolerated.